you needn't worry about remembering anything, because you can have the recording, okay? Because what we're going to do, we're going to pack as much as we can into this recording. And I'm going to do a sort of, this is the plan. To start with, I'll just ask you to tell me in brief what it is you want to change. Don't go into detail, because we'll be going into detail so that we have an aim, okay? Then I'm going to, first of all, just ask you to tell me a little bit about the dog's environment, so that it's like I'd come to your house. And then I'm going to take you through a lot of questions, really. And as things crop up, we'll look at that. And we'll look at, when you first talk to me, I'm going to get a goal out of this. And so anything which might have any effect on this goal, we'll look at it. Because you think you've only got one problem. That's what normally happens. But actually, it's little feelers and other things which actually affect it, you see. So we'll have a look at all that. So first thing really is just for you to tell me in a sort of summary what it is that what's happening that you'd like to change.
Sorry, my daughter's just coming in. Bo, we're just on the call, all right? Just to let you know. Be quiet. In summary, the main problem we have is Indy barking at guests when they come into the house. And also she barks at select people out of the house. But only when they sort of go to greet her, she'll bark at them out of the house. Not everyone, just some people that she doesn't like, I don't know. But in the house, she'll bark at everyone that comes in. There's a few people like our family that she knows now that she won't bark at. But there's a few friends that we have that have met her a couple of times, but she still barks at them, and she'll lunge towards them. She's never gone to bite someone, but she'll lunge and bark.
I think what she's basically saying is back off.
Yeah.
That's what she's saying to them. Dogs don't, if they're being polite to another dog, they don't go straight towards them like this. And that's often what happens when you're out. The other thing we will look at is it's not always going to be what the person or the dog does. It's not dogs, is it? It's people, what the person does. It's going to be sometimes what mood she's in before you even go out, So we'll have a look at the whole thing. Okay, so if we said in a nutshell, what it is you really want is for her to be more relaxed around people.
Yeah.
People coming towards her, whether it's at home or whether it's out. And I know it doesn't always happen when it's out, but generally that's what we're looking for, is for her to be better, more relaxed around people, not to, I think, see them as a threat, I would think. As she's a German Shepherd, and that's sort of what they're bred for. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's look at the dog's environment. I see that she's got a crate. Is she actually shut in there, or she's just gone in there?
No, I've just put her in there so that she didn't try and climb on us whilst we were talking to you.
Okay.
When both of us are sat on the sofa, sometimes she'll climb on us if she wants.
Fine, I'll find out about that in a minute. So you have a detached house, a semi-detached house, a flat? What sort of place do you live in?
We've got a 3-bedroom semi-detached house.
Okay. Which means that you've got neighbours.
Yes. Well, we have one neighbour who's deaf, which is handy.
Yeah. And the neighbours the other side, they've got Frenchies that are barking.
Yeah, they've got lots of dogs. Yeah.
But what we're worried about is people, isn't it? If she's in the garden, for instance, does she react to the neighbours?
No,
she doesn't react.
Interesting.
She, even if he's talking over the wall to us, because he'll often talk to us, he's quite our wall's quite low. She's never barked at him, has she?
That's interesting. So she doesn't bark at people from your garden?
No.
Yeah, the next question is then, sorry to keep cutting you short, I want to get through a lot. You'll see the passage in a way when we get there. The next question is your house built in a place where there's lots of people walking past?
Yeah, we're on a busy road, aren't we? It's not a main road. It's kind of like a cul-de-sac, but there is a lot of thoroughfare of people walking, kids, and there's a school next to us. So
does she react to that from the house?
No, not so much. She occasionally barks if someone's talking loudly outside the house or something. But if people are just passing, she doesn't always.
Does she ever bark at them?
Occasionally, I've seen her bark at people that have walked past. Yeah, but not every time.
That has a sort of relevance, which we'll look at. And obviously, if they're going to come up the path, she'll be barking, won't they?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
She can see them. She can see them walk up the path, can she?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We have the blinds open.
Okay. Right. Well, we'll look at the detail.
Like, when they're walking on the pavement, she doesn't pick up on it because the driveway's like 2-3 cars long, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a big driveway, so they're not walking straight past
So
the house.
it's only if she thinks that they might turn into your driveway, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, we'll look at that later because it is part of it. We're looking at barking at people.
Mhm.
It's not only when they're coming into your house and only when you're out on walks. It's going to have to be the whole picture, if you like.
Mhm.
Okay, right. Now I'm going to start with which is quite a strange question, you might think, but I've got to start somewhere, and it's surprising what things this brings up. So let's say it's at the end of the day, your daughter's in bed. How old is your daughter, by the way?
7.
Oh, yes, she'll be in bed, let's hope.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's the end of the day. You're going to go to bed soon. Are you perhaps watching telly together on the sofa, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes.
If you are, where is Indy?
On the sofa.
With us.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
she's got a place on the sofa where she has her blanket, so it's quite a big sofa, and she'll stay in her place usually.
Oh, okay. So you encourage her to stay in her place rather than on you.
She doesn't really
Okay.
like to lay on us, does she?
No.
She might lay next to us a little bit sometimes, then she'll move back over to the place or on the floor. She might be a bit hot or something, I suppose.
Right. So you're sitting there. She's sort of on the sofa but separate from you, and you presumably want her to go out before bedtime.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to the toilet? So, how do you achieve that?
Normally when I go to bed, you go to bed first.
Yeah.
And then I normally go outside with Indy, and then she knows it's bedtime after she's
Well, do
been.
you just say to her, "Come on, Indy, out you go," and she
Yeah.
goes,
Let's go
she's
for a wee.
willing,
Yeah.
Go for a wee, yeah.
very willing, and she comes in when you want her to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always, yeah.
Okay. And where does she sleep?
Great.
You shut her in, do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when she's been out and it's bedtime, does she go straight into the crate with no encouragement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no problem, no difficulty getting in there. Okay.
No.
So you
She's
shut the door.
never, no.
You
Yeah.
can see how these questions do bring things out. I mean, what one is sometimes the dog's on the sofa, it might get aggressive if, I don't know, if the people touch each other or something.
Yeah. No, she's never.
Or the dog might not come in when called. So I'm beginning to find things out already, but I haven't found anything out about it.
Yeah.
So during the night, she's quiet.
Always.
Good.
Yeah.
Who's
She never
first
barks
in-
at night, does she? No.
No, she's quite good.
Yeah.
Who's up first in the morning?
Me.
Right. So you come down. Do you go straight to the crate and let Indy out?
No. Because I get up at about 4 o'clock to go to work in the mornings.
Oh, okay.
So rather than disrupt her, she knows when I come through, I get my coat, I leave, and then
You just
Sleep
take no
there, and then
notice
she
of
goes
her.
back to sleep.
No
Yeah.
notice of her. Okay. So the next person's you down with what's your daughter's name?
Bo.
So you're next down with Bo.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that B-O? I just like putting it in.
Yeah. Her
No.
name's Bowie, but we call her Bo, yeah.
So yeah, so you come down with her, and do you come straight to the crate and let Indy out?
Yes. I always let her out for a wee, yeah. Straight away.
How excited is she when you let her out?
She's never overly excited. She'll be wagging her tail to see me, but she doesn't jump up or anything like that. She'll just go straight out for a wee because we always do it like that.
And she's just as pleased to see Bo, is she?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So she goes out, willingly comes back in again.
Yeah.
And what happens next in her day?
Breakfast.
Okay. Does she get excited about that?
Yeah.
We will look at food in a minute separately. Okay.
She's not like unmanageable excitement, but I can see she's happy about it.
She's happy.
Yeah.
She's very good, isn't she, for a dog of only 1 year old?
Yeah, I think she is, apart from the barking situation, which is obviously why we're here, she's such a good dog. She's been really easy, hasn't she? Well, I've been really on top of training her. That's I feel like that's why, but
what it is, it's a big part. And in fact, that's very useful. What you haven't done, which you need, is the behavior side of it. Because it's one thing to teach her to do lots of so-called tricks, and it's another thing to get her to feel differently.
Yeah.
What we need to look at with the people. Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing which is quite relevant, in some cases more than others, is her own state of arousal when somebody comes or when you go out and see a person. Now, I've just covered this briefly. Anytime she gets really excited or angry or scared, she's going to get a rush of adrenaline, cortisol, fight, flight, action hormones into her system. and they stay in there for hours. So if you had said you come down, you let her out of the case, you have a big rough and tumble, you go, whoa, 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 your little girl chases her around. I'd have said, okay, you've already filled what we call the stress bucket up halfway by being so excited, which you're not doing. This is why we need to look at this, because what happens is, because these things stay in the system for quite a long time, there are circumstances where, if you look at it like a bucket, something's gone in there, but before it's gone out, something else has got in, and something else. And often on walks, that is the case. And when people come, because that person coming up the path, the doorbell, the person comes and whoa, she's gone over the top. You're out for a walk, you see some from a distance, okay, you see another person a bit nearer, that's a little bit more, and then it goes and she's at the top. So quite a lot of it we need to look at is keeping her as stable as possible. All right, and it doesn't sound as if that would be too much trouble at all, because she sounds a really stable dog anyway. But it is relevant. So if I pick any little things up, like, you know, unnecessary arousal for no reason at all, because the other thing we look at is ways, if you like, to drain the bucket, things that help her to be calm, because she might need some of these. She's going to be, her bucket, when somebody comes to your house, her stress bucket's up the top. And once it's gone over, it's a bit like a volcano. Once it's over, it's up, it goes. She's got to do something. She's got to do something to make herself feel better. She can't control herself. There's no doubt telling her to sit down, stay and settle or whatever, because she can't. Do you see? So it really helps to try to find a way not to get her up there in the first place. Okay. And okay. So the next question is, during the day, what's the sort of pattern during the day? Is she left alone very much?
Well, I'm working from home currently. I wasn't always, so she was left alone for a couple of hours, 3 hours at a time, not every day. But at the moment, there's usually someone home most of the time. We've left her today and gone out. We've left her up to 4 hours today. It's about 4 hours, isn't it? But she does settle herself and.
Yeah, okay, we'll look at this next then, because obviously if she had separation problems and she got very upset when you were out, and then you took her for a walk, she's going to be up there before she's even seen a person. So you see that there is a relevance to these things. You have a camera so you can see what she does when you're out. Okay. Where do you leave her?
So we were always leaving her in the crate when we went out, but we've recently, in the last couple of weeks, let her be in the lounge,
right?
With the crate open if she wants to go in there, which she did today.
Good. Sounds better. Yes. Okay. And how does she? What does she do while you're out?
So today I checked her a lot, because it's the longest we've left her in the lounge without just being in the crate. And when we first left, she did a little bit of whining, a little bit of pacing around the room, probably like for 2 minutes, not long at all. And then she settled down, she laid in her place on the sofa. And then every time I checked the camera, she was she was asleep, but she was in a different place in the room. So she was, but eventually she was in a crate asleep. So she obviously felt like better to be in there.
And I'm sure when you first went, that your little whining at the door, it's because she wasn't in her crate, if you like.
Yeah, maybe,
Can she, is that where she is left? Is that near the front of the house so she can see people and
she can see out the window?
That isn't the best thing. She's only got to have an Amazon man come and knock on the door, and the next time you go out, she's not going to be nearly so happy about being left.
Okay.
I think one thing very important that the dog feels safe when left, which obviously feels safe in her crate. But I agree with you. She doesn't want to be shut in a crate all the time, especially if you're out for 4 hours.
No, exactly. And she's a big dog, so.
Exactly. No, I agree. I think you might. Do you leave the blinds down?
Sometimes,
but
they
today.
Yeah, she can open them with her nose because they're like hanging blinds.
Do you know what I would say? Now, I would say this is probably quite important in a case of a dog that barks at people. Every time she looks out of that window and she barks, and she does it sometimes, if she's in that mood, she's yelling, "Go away." Now, she's successful because the person always does go away.
Yeah.
And so she's learning, it's reinforcing, right, if I want somebody to go away, barking works. You don't want her doing that. Now, what I would say to you is that if you put some of that window frosting stuff on the bottom part of the window so she can't see
Yeah.
out. You can see over it. She, you know, it
That's
doesn't
a
leak
good
your
idea.
life.
You could do that.
And you can get all sorts of different designs. You can just have plain, but that means that she can't see out. She's going to feel considerably safer. And another thing I would do is I would put an outside letterbox on if I were you, so that at least you're not going to have post. If you're out and the postman comes in, bang, 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 letter through the floor. She's a guard to the door. She's a guard dog, you know. And so she's going to, oh, well, I'm going to chase this person away, and immediately she's aroused. You see, and so I would say
I didn't think about it like that. I didn't think about it in the way that the postman was obviously leaving, and she probably thinks that she made them leave.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And anybody she happens to see walking past on those occasions she does bark, which she does sometimes, doesn't she? She's in that bit of a higher mood that she's got, so that she feels she needs to do it, and it always works.
Yeah.
And in fact, when you come up your drive, she thinks, oh, well, I'm going to have to keep barking longer and longer. They've come in my house now, but it'll work in the end.
Yeah.
And it does.
Yeah.
They do go.
She seemed, it's weird because she seems to settle quicker with certain people. I don't know whether it's like a male female thing or something like that, but
I tell you what's common, it's more common for them to be worse with men. And also
she seems that way.
It'll be, yes, and I think it could well be the mood she's already in, but a lot of it's how you handle it. So we'll look at the details of that. Anyway, so just because we want her whole life to be as stable as possible, I would just make sure that when you're out, okay, because this in a way involves people coming past your house, coming to your house, and her feeling she's got to be on guard duty, I would think. Whereas she's shut in her crate, she can't be on guard duty. So in that respect, it's better. But I don't like dogs shut in crates too much. But you know, I'd see from the point of view of her feeling secure. She can't. She's helpless, isn't she? She can't do anything.
That's the thing. Yeah, we did it at first, obviously, because she was a puppy, and we wanted her to be crate trained, which worked really well. But now she's bigger, we want her to have a little bit more freedom.
Yeah, sure.
But it's kind of working.
She does a lot of barking when you're out at the front of the house. It might be a good idea to put her back in the crate, or else put her in another room.
Yeah. I haven't noticed that she does a lot of barking. Only, like you say, if there's a parcel man or something at the door. But we don't really get.
Just bear it in mind that if she feels safe, it's going to be better. And also, as far as the barking at people's concerned, I think just taking away the opportunity altogether.
Yeah.
Good. She's fine with the neighbours. She just doesn't like these people. She doesn't know being too near her house, does she?
Yeah.
And so if they're going to linger or something, you know, she's going to bark at them, isn't she? Okay, right. Now, when you've been out and you come home, so now you don't have to let her out of a crate, you walk in the door, what level of excitement would you think she is?
It's different between us, because if me or Bo come home, she never ever jumps up at Bo, because obviously Bo's small. She must just know that she can't do that.
She doesn't need to, does she? She wants to get to her face.
Yeah, but she doesn't tend to. She doesn't jump up at me. She'll be very excited, wagging her tail, you know, all excited, but she won't jump up at me. But when James gets home, she jumps all over him.
Well,
she squeals.
She squeals and jumps, like really excited.
It's a big event, isn't it?
Yeah.
When I get home,
I think possibly it will be because you make it a big event as well. I would think.
Yes, James.
The dogs reflect us, you know.
Yes.
Right now, here is one thing I think you'll see the relevance. I think you ought to encourage her to be a bit calmer when you come in, because anyone coming into the house, she's going to have to feel differently. It's neither a big event, not whether it's a strange person I've got to guard the house, or it's James come back. You know, we want the whole front of the house to be more of a calm type of thing.
Yeah.
What I would do, well, James in particular, does she have anything she likes in her mouth or likes to chew? Is there anything she has that she particularly likes?
She has
soft
a couple of like her Kongs and some chewy toys she likes.
Does she like soft toys?
No. She obliterates everything.
They last a minute tops.
The thing is, one of the things in bucket drainers are called, the thing to keep a dog calm, is and have something in its mouth.
Okay.
You know, really useful, really useful. So if you can find something she likes in her mouth, when you come in, James, what I would do, I would take very little notice of her, basically say, hi, Indy, give her something for her mouth. Now she'll jumping all over you, chewing this thing up, but if you give her something, it'll help her a little bit. It'll make you feel less mean because you've given her something. And I would just literally play it down. I would wait until she's calmed down before you say hello to her, and don't then do it in a madly vigorous way, because she's going to have to learn to be calm. And if she can't be calm when you come through the door, you know, I think that really is quite, it's I'm sorry to be a spoil sport, but I think that's and in the same way with you, but she's not quite so excited with you. So
No, that's because I ignore her.
exactly.
Which is what you need to do. He's not very good at ignoring her.
I know it's really, really hard, but if you actually give her something which might help her calm down, that'll actually make you feel less mean. You know, if you just gave her you get a soft toy from charity shop, take all the stuffing out. They seem to like things in their mouths. I mean, both my German Shepherds did. Okay, that you might wreck it, but it doesn't really matter.
No.
If she doesn't, she'll drop it eventually, take it away, put it back somewhere so you can give it to her next time. Perhaps a toy which you can always give her when you come in.
That's where we make the mistake. We don't take it off her, and then she just shreds things into tiny pieces.
Item for when you come home, she'll actually start to look for it soon.
Yeah.
But you know, she won't if you just leave it out. Anyway, that's just a thought. We're trying to looking at the arousal bucket, stress bucket, as well as everything else, because we get her as stable as possible, then the things work better. Okay, you can see the point, can't you?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let's go on to first of all, we'll look at food next. Now, you did tell me she had a delicate stomach, so you're feeding her chicken and rice.
Chicken, rice, and veg. Yeah.
I was going to say, because it's not a very well balanced diet.
No, it was chicken and rice when she was a tiny puppy because she kept having diarrhea. And then we added vegetables into that, and we've been giving her that ever since.
Right.
We added salmon oil.
Yeah, salmon oil and sweet potato. We mix it up a little bit.
I'm not a nutritionist, but quite a few dogs are allergic to chicken.
Oh, okay.
And I think rice hasn't got anything in it very much. So it might be worth your while. There's a website all about dogfood.co.uk. It's all one word, all about dog food. It will be worth looking at that. They grade the quality of the food. That's processed food, but it might be worth your trying something a little bit more, you know, giving a little bit more nutrition, because again, it'll affect her mind.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a nutritionist, but it would be worth looking into. I think. I tell you what I feed mine. I feed mine on the very best dry food I can get for one meal. I feed them raw on the other meal.
Okay.
Don't know how to have some.
Yeah, we have looked into raw, didn't we, when she was younger? We're not keen on it, but
well, you don't have to touch it in a way if you get it ready made.
Oh yeah, we could order it. Yeah,
it would be quite good to, you know, give her something really good.
we'd like to order something in bulk, really, because we're cooking her meals at the moment every week, which is also a nightmare.
I have a special little fridge for my dogs, and I order the raw food in bulk. But I used to do butternut box for a while. You know,
I have looked at that. Yeah,
quite expensive, but you know, if you've got enough freezer space, you just get enough of it.
Yeah.
It saves you the work.
Look into that again. I think it'd be easier for us as well.
You find that nutrition. She's only 1 year old, so she hasn't got. You know, she's very healthy at the moment. But I do think good nutrition wards off all sorts of things like ear infections and parasites, and you know, makes them more resistant to all sorts of things. You know. Anyway, yes. So when you feed her, do you just feed her in a bowl?
Yes.
Yeah.
Twice a day?
Yes.
These days we do, yeah. Like we used to, when she was on kibble, we used to train with the kibble, but now we just feed her meals in a bowl, yeah.
But it might be worthwhile getting some very, very good kibble if you can find some which you think is going to be all right. What do you call it? What's the name? Hypoallergenic type stuff. Because, you know, training with it is a good idea. You know.
Yeah.
But what I would say about feeding her is giving her as much enrichment in her life as possible. Because it's not all about training and doing what she's told. It's about fulfilling things in herself, which, you know, maybe mean that she could, again, not fulfill her need to guard quite so much. And I would say giving her food in a bowl is taking away from her what she would instinctively be doing, that would be working for her food. So in a way, you've told me she has a cold. I would feed her in such a way she has to put a bit of effort in. I mean,
Okay.
you could chuck it all over the grass outside. It's not very easy if you're going to give her chicken and rice. But if you if you found, you could try freeze-dried food, or you could try some very good. Just try a little bit and see how she goes.
Yeah.
If you get some really good salt, and scatter it all over the grass, for instance. But with your food you use, you could stuff it in a Kong. Is she a good eater?
Yeah.
And you know, stuff it in a Kong, and if she really does that too quickly, you could freeze it or half freeze it, you know.
Yeah.
That's not perhaps every time. Give her stuff to work for. I would say, especially if you're going to go out or something, you know, give her a little bit more.
Yeah, we do. We've got we give her licky mats, frozen licky mats with yogurt and fruit and things like that, and freeze the Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We just don't do it with our main meal. We give her extra.
Yeah.
You're giving her extras in it. Yes, it's getting her to work for her actual food.
She works with cheese on our walks, doesn't she? Little cubes of cheese.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
There again, that's not working her for her food. That's extras, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Extra.
With her. Have you tried her on sprats?
No.
You get bags full of little tiny dried sprats. They're little tiny fish.
Oh, I hate fish. That's why I haven't bought them yet. But I should. I have watched some videos about sprats and things as well. I give her like rabbit ears, chicken feet.
Oh, nice.
That's those.
Good
yeah.
Good stuff to chew. I mean, it might almost be if she has one of them every day. If you come home, James, you just give her something like that.
Yeah.
She'll have it in her mouth and run around with it, and you know, look what I've done. But she'll eventually settle down and chew it.
Well, yeah, if she had a rabbit ear, she'd sit down and chew it straight away, wouldn't she? If you came
home,
she'd
do it straight away. I think my German might have run around in circles with it first and before settling down.
Indy's she's so used to either going in a crate or a place, she just automatically will go there with a treat and just chew it. So I think she would, yeah.
It's very useful, I think, with German Shepherd to teach it to go to a place. Okay, now let's look at when someone comes to the door. Let's look at all that. Okay, so we already know if she happens to be seeing them come up, she'll start going mental. All right. Do you have a doorbell?
Yeah.
And
she goes mental at the doorbell.
Right. Okay. So that's really, apart from if she happens to see them coming up the path, which she won't if you cover the window, the doorbell is the start of the problem. If it was your friends, I would say don't ring the bell, just text me at the door. Get rid of it. But generally, you need to desensitize her to that doorbell. And is it just an ordinary ring bong, or is it?
It's a ring doorbell.
Oh, it's like mine.
So it rings the phones.
Yeah, but it makes a certain noise, doesn't it? Even if she hears it on the telly, she'll go nuts because she knows that noise.
You need to I don't know, record it on your phone, or I'm sure you can keep playing it. I've got a ring. I'm sure you need to keep going over this sound lots and lots of times, randomly. Okay, and every time you do it, chuck a bit of food at her.
Okay.
Bing bong food. Bing bong food. Bing bong food. If you go to the front door, put your hand round, do da 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 food. So she begins to associate that bell sound with food. Now, what I did with my dogs, well, Cocker Spaniel particularly, I had 2 bells. I got two presses with an ordinary doorbell, and I was going around the house ringing the bell, you know, all the time. I was ringing it all the time, and he got to the stage after a week or 2 of this to think, well, if it's a doorbell, it means it's nothing, doesn't it? So it really, really desensitized. He started barking again a few months later. I just did it again for a few times. But that's what I would do if you can possibly duplicate the sound of the doorbell and immediately pair it with something she likes.
Okay.
But something, as she does it, don't put it in her mouth. Let her look for it. So, throw it. Okay? So she got to look for it. Now, when she gets to the stage, she hears a doorbell and she looks for you for the food. Now, I would start throwing the food. I don't know, where do you want it to go? On her place? But when people come to your house, you really want it out of the room to start with. I don't know where you do that now, but I would train her to, when she hears a doorbell, to automatically go somewhere else.
Yeah. So
that you haven't got to push her there, command her to go there, and then she does it. All right. And then shut the door. Right. Okay. So that would be the first thing I would do. Get the excitement away from the doorbell. That would make a huge difference. Right. Now, when the person, you need a few guinea pigs, you need a few friends, people she knows and isn't too bad with, females probably. And when the person comes in, you say to that person, please do not look at Indy. Don't take any notice of her. Ignore her completely. Okay, sit down. Because if somebody's walking towards her, looming high, she's going to be 10 times worse than if the person's already installed and then she comes to where they happen to be. Do you see? So she will have heard them. She'd have been gone off to have food in the kitchen because she heard the bell. The person sits down and doesn't look at her. Now, she lunges, doesn't she?
Yeah. When she's full bark mode, she'll lunge towards them whilst barking at them.
Does she wear a harness when you go out?
Sorry?
Does she wear a harness when you go out?
No, she has a collar and she has a what's it called, that lead I've got? Slip lead. But she walks well now, so she doesn't
she wasn't.
Right, but the point being is
she's tiny.
What we've got to do is get her to like people. And what is happening is, well, I think I'm going to give you my analogy. You'll see the connection in a minute. I think this will work better. Okay, you need to get her to change how she feels about people. Now, just imagine that the only place you could walk her is a very big field, and at one end there's a train line, and she feels trains are a really bad threat, really bad. But because the field is so big, there will be a distance where she can see those trains and hear them. She's going to be all right. Okay. Now, if you took her to that field every day, she'd perhaps get a little bit close to the train. That would be desensitizing her. All right. But it would take a long, long time. But if every time a train came past, you were at the distance she could cope, chicken rain from the sky or something she loved, cheese in her case, perhaps, train goes, no cheese. Other trains, cheese. So she begins to think, oh, when the train comes, I get cheese. And in a way, she'd be up there soon waiting for the cheese. Now, what you're doing and what we do, two things we do. The first thing we say, basically, come to the railway line, I'm going to hold on to you, and you're going to have to get put up with it and learn. Now, that's called flooding. And on the whole, flooding makes things worse, pushes the thing back, okay? Now, the other thing we do, the equivalent is if the train comes, the dog starts barking, we kick the dog, all right? Instead of giving food, we kick the dog. So the train comes, and because the dog is upset, which is your fault because you've gone too close, the train turns nasty as well. It stops giving food. So the train has to always give nice things, whatever she's doing. It needs to be that distance. Now let's translate that into what's happening here. You bring it. She's coming into the room. Okay, the person's too close. If she has a collar on or a lead, if they take this out on walk, particularly, she's got a slip lead, particularly, she lunges. She's got all her precious things in her throat, her thyroid, all the glands, all the stuff that I killed my first German Shepherd, I'll tell you, with a slip lead, with a choke chain, actually, same thing. Yeah. I did not know years and years ago when people used a jerk. All right. So basically, if she sees somebody, she lunges towards them, it hurts her neck, and that means it's a very, very negative thing she associates with people. Okay. Yeah. So it's so important that she's comfortable.
That's what I hate about it, when she lunges, like, she's normally quite relaxed on the lead when we're just walking, but when there's someone that comes towards her.
Let me tell you how I would do this. I will actually send you a thing of me with our German Shepherd ages ago. I would get her a special sort of harness. Yeah. It's called a perfect fit harness. It has a hook on the ring on the chest as well as the back. All right. Now, what I do with my dogs, I often just put the lead on the chest, because if the dog pulls, if you think what's happening, the body comes round. It's not, if you put it on the back, it tends to pull against it, but it gives you more control. If you're on a walk, you've got two, if you have a double-ended training lead, you can one on the front and one on the back, and it loops around. You've got the physical control you need. Yeah. And it doesn't hurt the dog. Now, going back to visitors coming to your house, if you know they're going to come, and you have one of these harnesses, they're very soft, they're lovely. In fact, I could go and get one. It's in the other part of the house. You could put it on well in advance of the person coming. And then you put her in the room wherever she is, out of the way. And then you pop the harness, you pop the lead on the harness, on the chest of the harness, okay? And when everybody's sitting down, you've told the people what to do, you just bring her on a lead. And if possible, you sit down but well away from the person. And if she's calm enough, you drop bits of cheese on the floor. You don't give the person food for her to give her. Okay? I mean, this is the first thing. When the person's a little bit more settled and she's a little bit happier with the person, if you want a person to feed her, they don't lure her to them with that. They throw the food like they're trying to get rid of her. They throw it away. Okay. But you will need to do things in slow stages. I think you need guinea pigs. You need to get her desensitized to the doorbell or whatever it is when somebody's come to the door. She needs to learn. She goes somewhere else, and it's nice because she gets, I don't know, whatever food on the floor she likes. So it's a good. And that when she comes in, the person is already sitting down and not looking at her.
Yeah.
All right. And you bring her on lead, so she hasn't got the option to lunge and bark, and she'll bark at them, but not to, do you see?
Yeah.
And don't scold. Okay, you need everything to be good associated with people. It shouldn't turn you into sort of somebody who's really cross and
no. We try not to be.
Well, the thing is, if she barks, give her 2 or 3 barks, tell her it's okay, come on, out you come again, and put her back in the kitchen or wherever you put her. Leave her there.
Okay.
And then try again later. But you probably find that each time she comes in, it actually gets worse. So you don't want to overdo it in one particular session. Another thing that happens is, I've been to about 300 houses in my time. A lot of them being dogs who have this problem with visitors. What can happen is then everything seems to settle down as long as the person, isn't too noisy. But if they want to go to the toilet or if they stand up, whoa. So you need to be careful again. And if she does seem to settle quite nicely with people, don't take the lead off, just drop it.
Okay.
Because you can say to the person, look, if you want to move, get up, just let me know first. So you just calmly go and pick up the lead. Okay. Now, but this is all part of the big picture. It's only one thing, this is how she is at home. You've got to get it with passing people. You've got to get it with people when you're out as well.
Yeah.
But does it make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking it all in.
People are good news.
What was the harness called?
And if she is, if she's barking and like that, it's because she is trying to be protective. She's not being naughty. She's
no, we don't treat it like that at all. I know that.
She's guarding.
Never tell her off or anything. I know it's best to just ignore the bad behavior, reward the good behavior. But yeah.
Yeah, so this is you can't exactly ignore it. You need to. The other thing which is very good about you've taught her you've given her a lot of training, so it's very likely if when you bring her in, if you have her, is her place just a mat that can go anywhere, or is it always in the same place?
Yeah, well, she's on a black blanket on the sofa, but if I put it on the floor, she would probably go to it, wouldn't she?
Right, because that would be the other
we take it to James's work and we put it on the floor, and that's her place.
Right.
So she must associate it with the blanket, yeah.
Well, what I would say then is if you bring her in, make sure if there's somebody there, you have the person at the other side of the room so say you've got her in the kitchen, I'm just imagining. The person is sitting down as far away from the kitchen as you can. You bring her in and sit down somewhere nearest the kitchen door, and you have her mat already there near you. Yeah. And you encourage her to stay on her mat. Because you've done a lot of that. And I would say the whole time she's lying down on that mat, you are every now and then dropping her a bit of food.
Okay.
Dropping her a bit of food. Get her to, because it's like you're saying ignore the behavior you don't want. You have to actually replace it with what you do want. It's not enough just, do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So as she's so well trained, sometimes well-trained dogs need guidance. But you don't want guidance with no stop, be quiet. You want
at the moment when someone's coming in, so you have to walk through the lounge to get to the kitchen. So I've been putting her in her crate whilst the person's coming through the lounge to get into the kitchen. Then I'm shutting the kitchen door until she's quiet and then letting her out. But she does still bark, like she'll be calm. So
you take people into the kitchen, do you?
Yeah, I take people through to the kitchen so we can have a cup of tea or whatever with the door shut.
Okay, well, I would say in that case, you really don't want her trapped in her crate watching the person go through, having already got very in a state with the door.
Yeah, but I could put her in the kitchen and put them in the lounge.
Yes, or else, do you have a kitchen door? Can you ask them to go around the back and come in the kitchen door?
You can't really get around the back, no. We've got like a garage.
I would say for the exercise, what you're going to do, I would say have them in the lounge and put her
Yeah.
in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And you can make the tea and bring it in when she's calmed down a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
you won't be able to. I think you, as I say, you need some guinea pigs rather than expect too much
Yeah.
of a
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
occasion with it. But you may be surprised.
Yeah. I'm planning it all out in my head. I'm thinking of the
Well,
people that I can get to come over as well.
and you know, somebody who hasn't got to come too far, maybe one of your
Yeah.
neighbours, even, so they come for 10 minutes.
We've got a couple of good friends that come over, you know, occasionally,
Yeah.
and she's met them both, but she does bark at both of them still.
Well, that would be quite good then, because
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what, you're talking about the train analogy, that's a little bit like the distance. She can probably cope with them as long as they were sitting down first and ignoring her. And there's
Yeah.
only one of them. You don't want two at a
Yeah.
time.
No,
Well,
we'll alternate them.
my friend came over last Friday, Des.
Yeah. She was
But,
good.
but my friend came over and she did her normal thing where she barks and barks. But I just put her in the crate before Des came in, and he was here for about 20 minutes and come and sit in the lounge. And then she'd calmed down by that point. So I asked if I could let the dog out, and he said that was okay. And she just got up on the sofa with him and started kissing him on the face.
It makes you
didn't
think
bark
that there's
again.
quite good hope for it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
think
she was accepting of him once she had calmed.
She's
I
actually
think that
she's such
first
a
level of
she's such a friendly dog with us and with our like our mums. She doesn't bark at all now because obviously they know she knows them really well, and she's so friendly with them. It's a shame that she comes across not friendly to other people when she is.
It's what she's doing her guarding if she feels threatened.
Yeah.
I think you need to keep the same process though. I have a feeling that the crate probably isn't the best thing if the person's walking right into that room and there she is trapped in the crate.
Yeah. We weren't putting her in there at first, but I kind of had to in the end because she was like jumping on people and
oh yeah, definitely. And in a way she it sounds to me as if she does feel quite safe in her crate.
Yeah, I think so. She's been in there every night, you know, every night and sometimes in the day since we've had her.
So you had a kitchen door, you could have put her in a crate when people come and let her out. But I think the principles are the person should be sitting down, the dog out of the way.
Yeah.
Ignoring the dog, and then you bring the dog in. If there's any likelihood of lunging or anything, have the dog on a lead so that you can relax, they can relax, and everybody's relaxed. It means you can take her straight out again without any commands. Come on, out we go. If she gets particularly upset, and also get her so that when there's no doorbell to, you know, if she hasn't been desensitized to the doorbell, when you've got your guinea pig, ask them not to ring it.
Yeah. Do that as a separate thing.
When you get out the car or something.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, India will soon connect a phone call with somebody being at the door.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, right. So that's that. Let's sort of rattle through a few more of my things, and then we'll have a look at outside. Okay. We've done food. What are her favorite things to do?
Go on walks. Chase a ball. She loves balls.
She loves chasing the ball and bringing it back.
Yeah, I'm starting to alternate when I'm taking a ball out with me now because I don't want her to be too obsessed with that either, which I've watched videos on.
I'm glad you said this because the ball is probably the best thing you've got, except in one respect, if you keep throwing the ball for her, you get her more and more and more and more and more fired up because she becomes, as you say, obsessed. The thing is, it's not a natural thing. Dogs chase things. They chase them, catch them, or don't catch them, and stop. They're not chasing back, bringing back until in the end, all she can think about is the ball.
Yeah.
And all the best things for her are the sniffs and the smells and the nature and the rest of it.
Yeah.
Now, what I would do if I were you, you don't take it every day anymore, do you?
No.
But I would say you keep that ball firmly in your pocket. You don't throw it at all, unless you need something to make her feel good about a person coming towards you.
Okay.
Keep that ball. We'll look at how to do it in a minute. Keep that ball as an alternative to food.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because if she loves the ball so much, and she only gets the ball, she sees a person. You know.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good idea because she would love that.
And you know,
we actually use it as a good distraction as well because when I haven't got the ball, she tends to approach dogs more But when obviously we're playing with the ball, she's not bothered by dogs at all. She won't go up to any
What
dogs.
I would say with that is that you're using management if you're distracting her. You're not changing how she feels.
No.
Obviously, I can see with a dog why you do it. But if you saw a person and you started throwing her ball, basically thinking, I hope she hasn't seen that person, she's going to throw a ball, you're distracting her. You're not changing how she feels about people. Do you see?
Yeah.
What we want to do is change how she feels about people, so she needs to see the person. Oh, that means I can have my ball, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But only in certain circumstances. We need to have a look at look at that. I'm leaving the walks to the end, just looking to see if anything else. What do you do about play apart from ball play?
We hide her Kong a lot in the lounge and then let her in to find it. She loves that, doesn't she? We'll like put her in the kitchen, we'll hide the Kong somewhere in the lounge, and she'll just sniff around for ages until she finds it.
Perfect game for her. I'll give you another game like that, which is good for her. Again, these are bucket draining games. And I think your little girl could probably do this nicely as well. Teach her to count to 3. What I do, I use grated cheese. Stand by a door, say for instance, shut her in the kitchen, and put 3 bits of grated cheese quite near the door, so she can't miss them. Open the door, go find, she can't miss them. Right, now shut her out again. Do it again a bit further away, make it a bit more difficult. Now, as each time you get it more difficult, in the end, you've taught her that there's 3 and only 3. She knows when she's found them all, there's going to be 3 bits of grated cheese somewhere in the room or in the downstairs of your house. You can even take it out into the garden. So it makes it really hard work for her.
Okay.
And that's a sort of thing which is really good, much better than repetitive ball play.
Okay. Yeah, we love doing games like that with her, and she loves it. I've got a couple of like puzzle games where you hide the treats in it and they have to move but they're so easy. They
learn it too quickly, don't they?
She's done it within seconds, so it's kind of pointless, really.
Yeah.
The other thing about the ball is we know that German Shepherds often their back ends aren't all that good,
Yeah.
And leaping for the balls and things is not really.
I do worry about exercising her too much as well, because she obviously runs really fast for the ball and stuff, but when I haven't got the ball, she's trotting around, she's sniffing, she's
much
like
better. I mean, they really are renowned for being bad for the joints to do that too much.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's see what else we got. We know you've done a lot of training. We needn't talk about that. Is she okay if you sort of touch her everywhere in her ears and her feet? Would she let you do anything with her?
Yeah, she's really good, isn't she? Yeah.
Apart from people, the things you've told me already, does she show aggression for any other reason? She got resource guarding issues or anything like that?
I don't think so. There was one incident when I took her to like a little dog festival. It's probably a few months ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I took her to a dog festival in Exeter, and I had bought her like a bone filled with meat. I don't know what they're called, little bone things stuffed with whatever, for her to just chill and have whilst we were sat down on the grass. And I went to stroke her near her mouth and she went for me. But she's never done that before or since.
I would say she was already a bucket full because you were out.
Yeah, that's what it felt like, the situation.
And that's a good example of the thing. And also, it is a thing you need to be aware. If you give her something very, very high value, it's like if you've got a new mobile phone and somebody puts a hand out, you think you're going to take it, you're going to.
Yeah.
Aren't you?
Is that resource guarding, or is that just her?
Well, it is in a way, but it's unnatural not to guard at all.
Yeah.
We guard things all the time. It is unnatural, but I think to have a sort of snap was probably because she was already pretty high on the arousal stakes.
We've not had that since with anything, have we?
No, generally when she was a small pup, I used to put my hand in her dinner bowl.
Yeah, we did all that, but I don't know if we could do that now.
Puppy, to be honest, that's probably a way you could teach them to be aggressive. Because
we wouldn't do that now because it's.
No.
The thing is, if you want something from it, always swap.
Yeah, when that thing happened, when she snapped at me, I watched loads of videos on it and blah 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 blah, and that's what it said. Swap with the treat, swap with the toy, or
if you give her something really high value, leave her alone.
Yeah.
And don't let your little girl know near her. That's the thing.
We've instilled it into her really hard.
Child doesn't know near her.
Yeah.
How is she in the car?
Well, she's really good at getting in the car and everything. She knows where to go. I bought a big car with a massive boot, so it's just for her. So she's good, but she's very excited for the walk. So she will whine.
Oh, right. And
She'll sort of whine and
I know.
yeah, she's like crying and whining because she's so excited to obviously get wherever we're going.
That's on the way to the walk.
She doesn't settle in the car very well, does she? She won't like lay down unless after the walk.
On the way home.
Yeah, sometimes she'll lay down on the way home. She won't cry on the way home.
She doesn't bark at people through the windows.
No, never.
No.
The only disadvantage is she's already on a bit of a high by the time you get out and she sees
Yeah.
people. That's the only disadvantage. What do you do? Have you tried to do anything about it?
No, I try to use weight with her a lot. So like when I open the boot, I'll get her to wait before she jumps out of the boot and things like that. But I don't know what else to do about her whining.
Well, if you've got
I just
time,
try not to talk over her.
well, when you pull up, is she still whining until you get to the boot to let her out?
No, I don't think so. Is she?
Yeah, she's excited to get out of the car.
Yeah, she's not whining though, is she?
She's just, well, yeah, she whimpers, doesn't she? And just,
Not when I stop the car.
yeah.
Does she?
Yes.
Oh, I can't
When
remember.
you pull up, you stop. I would just sit in the seat for a while until she's absolutely quiet.
Okay, yeah.
And then go towards the back. If she starts again, just stand still.
Get back in. Yeah. Okay.
Or just let her know that the consequence of whining and stuff doesn't get the boot open.
Yeah.
I
I've been
think that's
doing
what-
this. Yeah. It's funny that I don't think of some things because I've been doing it with the door and everything. When we leave for a walk, she has to be sat. She has to wait for me to open the door and think I've done all that lately. So she knows she can learn it easily. I just need to know when to do it.
You always take her by car, do you, when you go on a walk?
No.
What does your walk normally
Probably.
consist of?
So I've got a few different areas that I'll take her around here, and we probably go out in the car like twice a week to somewhere. We'll go to like a different park or but usually we'll do like a street walk and then we'll get to some kind of field scenario. I'll let her off and we'll go for a walk around there, and then she'll go back on the lead and come back through the streets.
Right, let's take it from home then. So you start off, you've either put slip lead on, probably. Okay.
Yeah.
I really think you should.
Yeah, I'm going to change that.
Harness. Now you've taught her to walk so nicely, you know she will.
Yeah.
But it'll
Yeah.
give you when I was put on my list, when I send you the video, I will send you a video of me much fatter many years ago with a German Shepherd.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Walking for the first time with the harness.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that'd be great.
That's what I'm going to say. Oh yes. So, what is the first thing that happens that she knows she's going for a walk?
Picking the lead up.
Who normally takes her?
Me.
Okay, so you go and pick the lead up, and is she already in a high state?
Yeah, she's not nuts, but she's excited because she knows we're going for a walk. She used to jump up at me a lot when we were going for a walk, but now I've just slowed it right down and I've asked her to sit and just waited until she's sitting, and then I eventually started opening the door and waited until she stayed.
Perfect. In fact, you've done all that work now. You could probably do it with not say a word, just wait for her, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the calmer you start off, the better. Okay, so she's all quite excited, but she's still not pulling.
No.
Okay.
She doesn't pull once we got outside the door. She might pull in the like first 1 second just to get out the door, and then she doesn't really pull anymore.
It'd be good not to have the thing right. I've got a total thing about the things like slip leads and especially choke chains, which is the same principle.
Yeah. We did start off with a harness, and then we had a lead and collar, and then she wasn't pulling really, really hard, but she was still pulling me. So I researched on videos and stuff, and I saw about slip leads, and I started using it.
Thing is,
which
got so many
improved
different
her.
opinions, but we know from what happened with my German Shepherd. It was back in the day when it was all about corrections.
Yeah.
and she damaged. She had a sort of stroke. She started going around in circles, and then she damaged top of her spine, and she was paralyzed from her neck down. We had to have her put to sleep, and I know it was the damage. I didn't at the time realize. I know now.
It's I
the
think
choke chain's worse than a split leaf.
when I was reading up on, it's still the same kind of way, isn't it?
Yes.
When I was reading up on it, I found it a really hard decision to get one, because it's like negative reinforcement as well, isn't it?
It's using punishment to stop her pulling,
Yeah,
rather than
which I
using,
didn't want really, but I didn't know what else to do at the time. But I don't want to do that anymore.
I'm sure you didn't overdo it. My main problem really with it in this case is that she's likely to associate people with pain.
Yeah, I don't want that.
And you know, it's the police used to train the dogs with choke chains and everything, string them up from trees and things. You know, they didn't know. In the old days, dreadful. Anyway, so I think she'll like harness.
Yeah,
especially when
I'm gonna get one tomorrow.
Perfect Fit harness is something like perfectfit.co.uk or something like that.
Okay.
You just Google it. Phone them, because it comes in 3 bits: a front, a back, and a girth. Okay, and they come separate sizes. So if you phone them, they'll probably ask you to measure her chest, and they'll put the right bits together probably. And if you say the front is too saggy and big, you just phone them and say send it back, and they send the replacement before you've even sent it back. You know, they're really, really good company. Okay. Right, so we're walking down the road now, and absolutely fine, but you happen to see somebody walking towards you. Okay. So what exactly do you do?
So normally on a street walk, she'd be absolutely fine with people walking towards us. She never barks at people if they're walking towards us. I think she knows they're just walking past and they're just
okay.
So normally
she's aware of them. She's aware of them. Sorry,
she's aware of that. Yeah, she's aware of them, but she won't bark at them. So normally, depending what side they're stood on, I'll obviously try and get in between her. So I'll hold her close to me, or sometimes we'll cross the road. If there's a dog on a lead with a person, we're crossing the road, like, because she'll pull, or I just don't want a situation that we don't need.
Here is think of the train analogy. We've got the person, maybe the person and the dog. Going straight towards is always a threat anyway. Now, she might be totally relaxed, but she needs to realize and know that having an approaching person is good news.
Yeah.
And also, you're right to increase the distance. Okay, so she needs something good to happen at a distance she likes. Now, if say the person's walking down, she doesn't seem to take much notice. One thing I wouldn't do is sit and hold her, get her to sit or something. So there she is, and sitting, and the person, I would keep on the move. I'd keep relaxed. I'd make an arc around, and I'd give her a bit of food.
Okay.
Okay, sort of as she's aware of them, as you go, come on, we go this way, good girl, bit of food, and on you go. So that everything is nice. So the people who she doesn't react to at all are very good for practicing on. You know, so if you do them, okay, and the thing is, anything she's at all react, especially as a dog, you're doing just the right thing. You're increasing distance. You need, but don't forget the good news. So now, if it's a question where she needs a lot of, say you're out in a field or something, and this is where she's really going to get at somebody, I understand this. But if it's on the road and she's fairly reactive, this is when maybe popping the ball in her mouth.
Yeah.
She'd carry it, wouldn't she?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's all you need to do. Pop the ball in mouth or bounce it so she picks it up and carry on with the ball. Okay, but that isn't per se, don't look at that person, pretend the person's not there, here's your ball. It's, there's a person, we're going, good, there's a person, good, hooray, good person, we're going this way, and here's your ball.
Okay.
You see, to make it a really nice occasion. So the times, I guess, when she's worse is if you're in an open space and there is a fairly more distant person. Am I right?
Well, no, we had an incident the other day which triggered this whole me looking for a dog trainer, was because I took her down to James's work. James works in a unit, and a person that works in the unit opposite, who she's met quite a few times, approached her, put his hand out, and she lunged and barked at him. She was on the lead at the time. She was just stood next to me. She was probably heightened because she'd seen you. She was obviously already excited.
Yeah.
And then he went towards her and put his hand out, and she sort of lunged and barked at him. So,
well, I'm afraid that a lot of dogs would do that. If
Yeah.
someone goes to the person and puts a hand out, they're not educated in dog thing. I
No.
think in a way you need to be, especially now she's sort of adolescent and for a while, you need to be her protector. You
Yeah.
need to make sure people don't do that.
Yeah. I did think
What-
that at the time. Yeah.
There's one thing you could do, just in case you forget. You get her one of those yellow jacket, yellow things.
Yeah.
And it says, one that says, I need space, for instance.
Yeah.
And it's not saying my dog's going to kill you. It's just saying, don't crowd my dog. That might be a
Yeah.
good idea in circumstances where you think you're in a crowded place and somebody might do it. Because an awful lot of dogs is very threatening for a dog. The whole approach like this, and a
Yeah.
human looms over and the hand out. I mean, so many people get bitten because the dog
Yeah.
reads it. He thinks, oh, I'm going to be friendly for the dog. The dog thinks, if it's
Yeah.
not a dog, it would be a very threatening thing.
I feel like I'm learning from every little mistake I make. I'm learning from it, because I
Yes.
probably should have been in front of her or gone a bit further away.
You
Or
live and learn. Exactly.
Yeah.
You live and learn. I think, if you're not going to take her somewhere like that, it might be just worth having one of these jackets, just so that and
Yeah.
if you did get harnessed, you might have to make a little hole in the back of the jacket to put the thing through.
Yeah.
But I think you need to protect her from some of these things. She's just reacting it
I
had to be
think that-
quite a bomb-proof dog not to react to that. She'd have to be
Yeah.
very, very bomb-proof from people, and she isn't.
I think also being a German Shepherd as well, they're so protective.
I know.
It's just
They're
the way
so
they are.
alert. They're so alert, they don't miss
Yeah.
anything, do they?
No.
And they are so protective, and they're very clever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like a different animal, isn't it? A German Shepherd. I find.
Well,
I would say
yeah, we love her to death.
sorts of dogs.
We just didn't want the incidents that we've had to be signs of aggression or coming
Well,
aggression. We've got a child and things, so we're a little.
said, yeah, you can't label her aggressive.
No.
It's you call aggressive how she reacts to certain things.
Yeah.
Okay. The aggression isn't so much anything. It's a symptom of her feeling she needs to protect you, protect herself, protect the house,
Yeah.
protect her space. So you can help her as much as you can.
Yeah.
And take precautions.
Yeah. I definitely think it. Yeah. I need to react before she reacts, I think.
So yes. And then I'd say if you're walking along and you're out somewhere, well, you're saying at the time she does it when you're out. Apart from that, when you're walking and she's an open space and she's off lead, she's all right, is she?
Perfectly fine. A lot more relaxed off a lead.
Of course, she's not
Yeah.
trapped.
She would
Well,
she has even gone up to people off a lead and they've stroked her and things, like
She goes
when
to
she
them.
chooses to. Yeah.
They don't come to her, which is why when people come to your house, she's going to come to them. They're not going to go to her.
Yeah.
It's nearly always better.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
I think we've more or less.
Yeah.
Okay.
She needs to get out, I think.
Of course she does. Oh no.
I'll let her out.
All right, let me jump all over you now.
This has been so helpful. It
Just
really
gonna
has.